So it's a brand new year, and we got a brand new horror movie for 2024. So let's get into how we felt about this thing. We'll see you guys in just a second.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
I'm a OP boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my seat, boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another iPopcorn for that review. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And we are here to talk about Night Swim. So this is a brand new horror movie for 2024. It was directed by Bryce McGuire, whose only other full-length movie is a movie called Unfollowed from 2020, which I did not see. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it, but I did watch like the short film that he made that became Night Swim, which was also titled Night Swim.
Okay, so you did watch the short film.
Yeah, it was only like 3 minutes long or something.
Oh, I should have just watched it too. I didn't watch it. But yeah, brand new horror movie. It's like a Blumhouse horror movie. It focuses around a swimming pool that is,
It's a haunted
I guess
swimming
for lack
pool.
of a better word, haunted. Yeah, it's basically a haunted swimming pool. So there's some fun to be had with that kind of plot. But I don't know. The story doesn't have, like, it's not a very complex story. And really to tell you much at all about it beyond that is to kind of spoil everything there is to spoil.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, so I'll tell you this though, the lead here is Wyatt Russell. So that is Kurt Russell's son.
Captain America.
Carrie Condon plays Eve Waller, and I think she got an Oscar or at least a nomination for her role in The Banshees of Inisherin. But he's a, like, I guess forcibly retired baseball player who has, I guess, MS.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like the doctor said.
I'm not sure they ever say it, but it feels like that's what's going on here. And they buy this house with the pool, and the idea is we're gonna use this pool as rehabilitation, and the kids are gonna love it. And we're gonna have house parties and all this, and things get weird pretty quick. And it starts off with an opening that lets you know right off the bat, like, there's something up with the swimming pool. What are some things that stood out to you? You took some notes. So
I mean, it was just a jump scare movie, and there was only like 3 of them in the whole movie. The plot line wasn't that great for me. There's a couple of things. I mean, it kind of gives you Pet Sematary vibes with where they take the movie, kind of mixed with Amityville horror, but their own take on it. And like, from watching the short, they could have done whatever they wanted, and I feel like they went with a weird direction with it. Because there's so many things left unanswered that should have been a case. So like the whole thing, it's, a semi-retired baseball player who would like to get back. He's been out for like a year because he got MS. Gonna get a little spoilery, I guess. They have 2 kids. He's talking about when he's 22, when his daughter was born, or his wife was 22, so he was somewhere around that age. His daughter's got to be like 13 or 14 by now. So that means he played in the league for like 12, 11 years. And there's a scene where they're at the doctor, and the wife says, well, I was waiting to get health insurance because they were wanting to run tests. He would have had health insurance if he played in the league for that long. He would have had health insurance, and he would have had so much money from playing that long that it wouldn't have been an issue.
How do they afford this house exactly? They just buy a house.
Yeah, and like,
so
your retirement from playing that long is like at least 200-something thousand, probably. Maybe a little less, but they had enough to buy the house, and that was a big weird thing for me. And
I'll tell you something, for me is the dialogue is so bad.
Yeah.
like there were a couple lines that really stood out to me as being, like, there was this one moment where the mom is talking to her son, trying to like hype him up for a baseball game. He doesn't even seem like he cares about baseball at all. Trying to hype him up for this baseball game, and she just says, baseball is just like boys with sticks and tall socks and balls.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Okay. What does that mean? Is that supposed to be funny, or I don't even know I don't know what that meant at all. And there's a couple lines like that where I'm just like, what? Is this supposed to be like something kind of humor?
Well, it seemed like the parents were disconnected from the kids too. Like, I mean, obviously they cared about them, but the dialogue with the kids to the parents is like, hey buddy, yeah, we'll get them this time, haha.
And there's also this weird thing where the mom says to the older sister, like be gentle with your brother right now because he's having a real hard time.
Yeah.
And it's not. I'm not sure that's obvious. They don't do
No.
enough with the. It's like they had written in the movie him having a little bit more hardship, and then they like trimmed the movie down and cut all of that out, and then they left that line in where she's like, "Your brother's really having a hard go of it," because they mentioned that a couple times, like that your brother's really, like there's another scene that's I guess a little spoilery, but where like the dad says something about like your life's too hard for your brother.
Yeah,
And I'm
and
like,
the only
is
thing
it?
that would be tough for him is they move to a new school, and that's the same for the daughter. And he joined the little
Yeah.
kid. I guess isn't good at baseball is the reason he's having a hard time. But even when they have the practice, everybody on the baseball team's supportive, and they're like, "Way to go, buddy! Way to get after it."
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't. It felt like something was missing there, and it just the writing here is just not. It's just not good.
Yeah.
There
The
was something weird about Wyatt Russell's performance for me too. I've seen him in stuff before where I liked him, but not really. I don't think he was doing anything for me here.
I mean, this might have been just like a paycheck for both of the mom and dad actors. I did like
I
I
suppose
can't imagine you went into this movie thinking this is the next big one. This is a great one.
it's too bad because I think I'll say this: there are some moments that show you something that could have been. Like I
Yeah.
think there was potential here. I think there is an inherent creepiness to like when you're a kid, you think about like you can imagine being a kid swimming alone at night and like the creepiness of somebody of like a voice inside that filter like flapper thing.
Right.
That's creepy. But then so it's creepy when there's like not you're not seeing a lot. As soon as you start seeing a lot and they start showing you more, it was almost like funny, unintentionally funny to me.
All right, so
Like
can we just get into spoilers?
let's just get into spoilers right now because I don't
So
recommend this movie. So
there's a lot of funny things like just jump scares, like I said, but there's a scene where the girl is in the swimming pool playing Marco Polo with a boy she just met, who's like Christian JV swim group, by the way, who's over one night, and there's like a
yeah,
bloated corpse of Danny DeVito that tries to pull the girl underwater, and that was hilarious.
to me it looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man fell down a chimney and he's like covered in ash and soot and
I
like
could see that
rotting or
too.
something like that. It's just like it's like an obese pool ghost, pool ghoul.
Yeah, and the premise behind like the pool being haunted is the whole thing is back in ancient times, like Native Americans or whatever worshipped this water like it was a wishing well, and you gotta give
Sure.
something to get something.
Hmm.
So the initial family like lost their daughter, and apparently the mom knew the son was sick, and now they meet them later in the story, and the mom of that family is in this nice house, and the son's like a senator. He's not sick anymore. Daughter's dead. She doesn't acknowledge that. But so that's a big thing is how the well water or like this big it was like they show a picture like video of it and it's like this big massive pond, right? Or whatever it was.
Hmm. And now all that's left is like they made a pool around that
Something. But this is well
because the pool
water.
like
Like
fills itself.
why
They're
didn't
like,
oh yeah. But why did none of the families around them have any like this would have been in their drinking water and stuff most likely or in their
well, and
pools if they had pools.
also like the realtor is like a local, and then she's like she kind of like they're having a pool party, and she's like, yeah, nobody else ever used the pool or whatever, and she's like, what's the deal with the pool? Like something, don't you? Just tell me what you know. And she's like, she finally like reluctantly is like, oh yeah, well there was something. It takes her so long to spit it out,
Yeah.
but she finally reluctantly says like, oh yeah, a little girl died in the drowned in the pool, but I don't know why you wouldn't use the pool after that, whatever. And it's like, man, if it took that little of a Google to figure out that this happened and like other people were dying around here, you would think everybody in the neighborhood would know about this like infamous haunted pool that
Maybe
kills
yeah, if they're gonna have a
kids.
pool party, maybe you don't go, but everybody seemed to go anyways.
Yeah, they all went anyway. I don't know. And it just there was a lot about this that just really strained credibility for me in a big way. And but like I said, there were there were things that they did where like the water, the deep end becomes like almost infinitely deep,
Yeah.
and then there's some things that are cool about that. And there's some camera work here that is cool that like makes sure it keeps you like half underwater and half above water. There's things to be praised. Not everybody was. I think people cared here. It's just the writing and really the acting, just the script, the whole thing like that, just didn't really make it come together.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything else that's
Well,
coming
there
to mind
was
for
one
you?
thing that
Because
I was thinking about, like this. It takes a sacrifice to. They get a wish if somebody's sacrificed, and the pool's gonna take that sacrifice whether you like it or not, basically.
yeah,
And it took the cat towards the beginning of the movie. Why doesn't the cat
for
count?
no reason.
Yeah,
The cat doesn't.
the cat doesn't count
I
as a
mean, if
sacrifice.
it used the cat later as like a lure,
Yeah,
but there was no cat there, so
yeah,
there
because it
was
was a
you didn't
ghost
have to
cat.
kill the. Yeah, you didn't have to kill the cat to. But in general, I don't get the rules here because.
Yeah,
So I guess what we're supposed to think is that Wyatt Russell's character asks the pool to like heal him.
subconsciously too, or something like.
I guess he just, yeah, I guess just subconsciously. But does he also subconsciously like tell the pool that the sacrifice is my son, or the pool just chooses,
I
and then
think
when
the
it like
pool just
possesses
takes.
him,
Yeah, that's what I think of. The pool just takes whoever it can, whoever's in the pool. Like it would have taken his wife potentially if she
it
would
has
have
to
been
take
there.
somebody. But yeah,
Oh, and here's the other thing: the kids know the pool is haunted, and they're like, "We just don't tell mom and dad. It's fine."
they're happy now. We don't want them to have to move again, and it's making dad better. So we don't want to we don't want to stress mom and dad out with the haunted pool.
Yeah,
The other thing is when Wyatt Russell's character gets like possessed by the dark pool water or whatever, I think there was a lot there that was like unintentionally funny. Like the facial expressions he makes
yeah,
and like the stuff where he's I don't know, like the
bro.
Marco Polo.
Oh, that's what I was about to
Uh,
say because they have a Marco Polo theme throughout the movie, and then he's like saying Marco chasing his daughter, and then when he finds her, she doesn't say, "You're supposed to say Polo." And it's like, oh god, okay.
that was so dumb. No, none of the scares worked for me at all. Like no jump scare worked for me. If anything, things would be like jump scare hilarious.
Yeah,
Because like everything that was supposed to be hilarious or everything that was supposed to be funny, yeah, it just the opposite of worked to me. But yeah, especially there was something about it was almost like Wyatt Russell in particular maybe thought he was in a movie that was trying to go like intentionally over the top camp some of the time,
yeah.
but it's not that's not the movie we got.
No, I guess that's about it. I don't really have any positives about the movie besides what you said about the pool being seeming like an infinite void once they get like kind of in the deep end or whatever.
Hmm. But it reminded me of other things. Like it reminded
Hmm.
me of this, what is it, like the sunken place or whatever on Get Out, kind of.
Oh yeah, I guess. I kind of it
I don't
had
know.
remnants of Carrie when they get the pool cover, and like I think of like Carrie 3 or something like that. There's a pool cover that gets put over, and they try to do that in this movie, and they stop it.
Yeah. There was also there was a moment where I think they're just filling up the pool for the first time as a family, and the song "Swimming," I think it's like Rufus Wainwright or something, and then it's like still playing like it's on the radio when they're all
Yeah,
hanging out together, and she's like, "What's with this Top Hits 106.9 Top Hits radio stuff?" And I'm like, I don't think they knew what song was going to get ADR'd into that scene, and then they chose like a that's not like a top radio hit song by any
yeah,
means. So that was weird. And then there's also like there's this saxophone player that I really like named Colin Stetson, and Colin Stetson has a song in here, and I like his music a lot. But it's like pretty weird, abstract, like jazz music, and I think they had that playing during the pool party, and I was like, this music doesn't make any sense for the vibes of a pool party at all. There was just a lot of like weird, off kilter
yeah. The whole
stuff
movie
like
kind of
that
just
throughout
was.
this.
That's kind of the theme of the movie.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like I don't know. I think there was a decent premise here. So how was the short film? Like, does it make for a good short film?
I mean, I guess it's only I think it was 3 minutes and 50 seconds runtime, with about 40 seconds of those being the credits. So, meh.
I'll tell you what, this guy also directed, or at least wrote, if not directed and wrote, the Imaginary that's coming up later this year,
Right.
and that's got me concerned. Yeah. So what would you rate? What would you rate it?
So I'll be generous and give it a 2.5.
2.5 out of 10, though. So that's
Yeah.
basically a 1 out of 5. Yeah, I think I'm right there with you, man. That's actually more generous than I was gonna go. I'm gonna stick with what I was thinking and say 2.
Okay.
Just not very good. Boring. I'm glad. Thankfully, it was over pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It didn't. If this had been a 2.5 hour movie or something like that, or a 2 hour
Oh.
movie, even I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have made it.
Mm-mm.
We'd be talking about how I walked out half an hour before the movie was over. So, yeah, unfortunately, kind of a hard do not recommend on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But we got another one coming up later this week, so we got another shot at 2024 is like January is notoriously like the month that's kind of the dumping ground for studios to put movies that they don't know what to do with. So we're gonna get some of that, but hopefully not. There's some glimmers of hope I have for January yet, so we shall see how it goes. But if you like this kind of thing, hit like below, subscribe if you haven't already. Help us get to 500 subscribers, and comment below and let us know if you saw this movie. What did you think about it? And give us your thoughts, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Thank you.